I'm Carlos Miller, a junior at Taos High School. My video focuses on wildfire and its connection to the future of our water. This past summer was terrifying. Cavs Canyon Hermit's Peak wildfire, 360,000 acres strong, produced a smoke column that could be seen from all over northern New Mexico. It opened up a door for me to explore what the role of community is in managing our forests, and also their reaction to the wildfires that come out of them. For more on this, I talked to expert J.R. Logan.
The word catastrophic is a loaded term. Catastrophic is a value that people put on a natural process. And when we talk about catastrophic fire, what we mean is catastrophic to human communities. Catastrophic fire looks like high severity fire in ecosystems that wouldn't have otherwise seen high severity fire. That severity is due to some tinkering that people have been doing for well over 100 years, but really in the last 100 years, combined with the impacts of climate change that we're seeing in this region. The conversion of something like a pine forest to a shrubland has really direct consequences for human communities and for their water in particular. Suddenly you have what we call a flashy watershed. That's a watershed that either loses a lot of its water to evaporation as soon as the sun hits snow that lands on the leaves and the trunks of those oak. When the spring rolls around and the snowpack starts to melt, doesn't melt slowly, doesn't come off of the mountain over a course of months. It might come off the mountain in a course of days. And again, the Hondo fire is a great example of this. You know, the fire itself destroyed something like 23 homes. It also ravaged the hillside above Lama, but it was really when monsoon season hit that community saw the brunt of what that change was going to look like. So in the very short term after that fire, there was devastating flooding. There were ash flows that resulted in fish kills down the Rio Grande for miles and miles. And what was left is kind of this charred, ash-ridden landscape that simply isn't able to hold water. Every fire you see on the news, where it's 0% contained and growing at tens of thousands of acres a day, is a fire that's moving through forests that did not evolve to handle that kind of fire and are now succumbing to it because of a combination of poor management and hotter, drier, windier weather, likely due to climate change.
Had the opportunity to go to a community in Mora to see the impact of the most recent fire on their forests and on their water.
What we've been doing here is unplugging the acequia that got plugged up because of the fire that we had, and then we had a flood afterwards. Unfortunately, there was a lot of trees down and branches and everything else, and he plugged the acequia, which affects us downstream because everybody downstream has cattle or pastures, and they need the water. Unfortunately, fire is good if it's controlled, but a lot of times it goes out of control, and that's nature. We've always had fires because that's how we get rid of the old trees and new ones grow, and we just need to realize that that's happening, and we need to learn to control it.
Well, since the fires came, we had significant erosion, and it caused the banks of the ditches to wash away.
For an hour, watched the river or the road become a river of thick, muddy water, rocks, debris, etc.
It's really difficult right now because we really need to get water for the animals, and we need to have the acequia running before the water starts to freeze. Once the water starts to freeze, if there's not a good flow of water, we won't have water all winter for the livestock.
In closing, through the variety of people I spoke to on community's complex role in managing natural resources, it is my opinion that communities must take an active role in the natural resources closest to them.